Okay, hello everyone. Welcome back to the second day of our online crash course. Know your whale shark. I was requested yesterday to wait for few minutes, so today we will wait for 5 minutes before starting. So stay with us. We'll start our program within 5 minutes. All right, so let's start our second day of online crash course of our Wali, our whale. So today we will learn about the distribution of whale shark in India, Gujarat, why Gujarat is the main focused area for its conservation, why whale shark was hunted, what were different hunting practices, different methods, why it was hunted, why there was a need to start the conservation movement, and who are the key players who played very important role in conservation of whale shark. And what's the way forward? Okay. So first, let's start with the distribution of whale shark in India. Okay, so until the early 1990s, there was very little information on whale shark sighting of the Indian. When I say very little information available, I mean very little information towards the scientific literature. But the fishermen were used to fish the whale shark early in the 1950s as well. So one of the scientists estimated that there were a total of 1974 whale sharks in Indian waters, with Gujarat accounting for the biggest percentage. So almost 95% of whale sharks were sighted or estimated in Gujarat, followed by Tamil Nadu and then Andhra Pradesh. So this is one of the very important reasons why the conservation of whale shark is happening in Gujarat waters only. In Gujarat, the majority of whale shark landings were due to the targeted fishing, whereas in the other states, the landings were unintentional. There appears to be a seasonal movement along the coastal waters of India, from south to north along the west coast and from north to south along the east coast. The whale shark aggregation began in December on west coast and peaked in March to June, with the highest concentration along the Gujarat coast. So scientists and fishermen have also observed seasonality in the congregations and in the movement of whale shark across Gujarat. It starts in December and the highest numbers of whale sharks are recorded from March to June. Okay, so here in this map, you can see that almost all the coastal states of our country has one or multiple sightings of the whale shark. Starting from Gujarat, on multiple areas, multiple locations, now whale shark is sighted. Whale shark has been also sighted at Mumbai in Maharashtra. And if we talk about Kerala, it has been sighted at Kovalam, Kumba, Kolam, Calicut, and Kasaragod. In Karnataka also, in at the Karwar coast, the whale shark was sighted. It was sighted in Mumbai, Maharashtra in 2005. In West Bengal as well as in Bangladesh also, at Calcutta and Nandagaon, Bangladesh, it was sighted. Vishakhapatnam of Andhra Pradesh, it was sighted in the year of 2004. If we talk about Tamil Nadu, it was sighted at Chennai and Samirapettai. In Orissa also, it was sighted in 2005. And in Gujarat, it has been sighted for many, many years at Dwarka, Daman, Verawal, Sutrapada, Dhamades, Diu, Somnath, Mood Dwarka, and other nearby areas. So, here in the distribution map also, you can see that the maximum sightings, or you can say maximum locations where the whale shark is sighted, is from Gujarat only. But the whale shark was a fish, and fish are fished, hunted. So now we can talk that why the whale shark is hunted. Has been one of the fantastic reports titled "Trade in Whale Shark of Gujarat Coast" by Famida Hanfi. It was published by Traffic India and WWF India in the year of 2001. So, if you want some detailed anecdotes, you may refer to this report. So, she writes that in the year of 1997, it was noticed that the whale shark fishing had started in Gujarat on a considerable scale. So, on a considerable scale, the fishing started in 1997. Even before that, the whale shark was hunted, but it was not at a considerable scale. Surprisingly, up to mid 1990s, whale shark was considered commercially unimportant. But after 97, it was noticed that the trade was uncontrollable and at a larger scale. It was a part of targeted fishing at Veraval and Okamandar as well. As per one of the report of 1986, He reported that large congregation of Gujarat coast during April month of the year 1982. The fishermen harpooned 40 whale sharks from 12th of April to 15th of April. And out of these 40 hunted whale sharks, 22 were taken to the Veeraval coast, and the movement or the fate of remaining 18 whale sharks is unknown. there are there were many processing units in Veeraval. That's why even the whale sharks which are hunted in different parts of Gujarat are taken to Veeraval for the processing. Now, one of the things is really very important, the difference between a whale and a whale shark. As you might know, that the whale is already a protected species. And even the maritime board, even the officers of a coast guard, they know that the blue whale and different species of whale are protected. But whale shark has also a whale in its name. So that's why sometimes even the coast guard officers they may make mistakes in the past. For example, this is what actually happened that in the year of 1999, the coast guard at the Wherever and nearby associated areas detained few boats who were fishing whale shark. Why they detained? Because the coast guard they mistake that the whale shark was actually the species of whale. So the learned officer of the Coast Guard also made a mistake in the year of 1999. They, by mistake, detained few fishermen for the hunting or for the fishing the whale shark. And even today, some of us may make mistake. Let me give you an example of the painting competition that we recently conducted. Some kids they sent us paintings, beautiful paintings of blue whales and whales in general. We had to write them back that we have asked for the painting of whale shark for the whale. Now, in the distribution, it is clear that more whale sharks are more distributed on west coast of India rather than east coast. And there is also some kind of seasonality. Now, if we talk about different hunting methods, first method that used for hunting is known as trawler fishing. So, trawler is a kind of a boat which could be a 9 to 17-meter long. It's a boat with a mechanized engine, and the fishermen. So, this method that I am describing was being used before ban on the fishing on whale sharks. So you can expect that this method was used in the year of 1990s or before that. So how they used to fish whale shark with this method was they 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 do a teamwork, 2 to 4 boats. They go for fishing, and there are 6 to 7 persons on each boat, and one of the person who is very experienced, they look out for the presence or signs of a whale shark. If they find a whale shark, a boat is steered towards that location and they stay very close to the shark, and they either shoots or a throw 8 to 10 kilogram long harpoon towards the shark. And such kind of harpoon, as you can see in this drawing, pierce through the lip or the shoulder area of the shark in the front. And then they also attach another hook on the uh, kind of a pectoral fin of a whale shark. So by doing this, they hamper the swimming capability of a whale shark. And now, as we all know, the whale shark is very docile, very calm animal. But when it is injured like this, the fish become kind of agitated, kind of aggressive. And what it will do, it will try to swim away from the boat. Docile fish become agitated and try to dive to the bottom. So after that, the engine of the boat is switched off and the boat is stalled by the aggression. So what the fishermen do is they turn off the engine and they let the whale shark swim to the bottom, and their boat will also, move, or their boat will also towed by the whale shark. After that, at a particular point of time, engine is started at the full throttle, at the full speed, and this game may last for 6 to 7 hours or more until the fish is totally exhausted. There is no energy left. Then the whale shark, will come to the surface and it will be pulled and tied to the boat. After that, the live fish is dragged to the landing center or the shore. While still in water, while still alive, the fish is cut into the pieces. Initially, only the liver was used, but on later part they started utilizing, commercializing other parts of the fish as well. There is also another method used for the hunting of whale shark, and which is kind of a much more popular. It is known as small canoe fishing. Now, the small canoe fishing, small canoes are either made up of wood or fiber boards, and they are found in Rupen, Okha, Sutrapada, Dhambres, coastal areas of Gujarat. As you can see in this drawing, two huge PVC barrels are tied to each other with the pole, and then this this pole is tied to the fishing line with the hook at one end. Now, as discussed in the previous method, the hook is, tied to the whale shark whenever it's sighted, and then it's being towed. Now, due to the buoyancy of these empty barrels, fish come up after trying and struggling. Small canoe follow the barrels, and fish is towed to the shore, as discussed in the previous method. So, as per the size of the boat, different methods were used. Now, let's discuss about total catches, its total whale shark being hunted in a particular season or at a particular time. So, in the report, it has been described that from January to February 1999, 60 individual whale sharks were hunted from Rupen to Oka, means from Oka-Mandad areas. So, from where did we get the data? So, this data was occupied by Pamida Hanfi by interviewing with different fishermen. We have another example that in December 1999, 145 individuals of whale sharks, and the weights of these whale sharks ranging from 2 ton to 12 ton, were caught at the Verawar landing center only. In 1 month, 145 whale sharks were caught at Verawar. Now the fishermen found the school of 300 to 500 whale sharks in December 1999, and out of this huge school of 300 or to 500, they were able to hunt down 145. And This must be a huge aggregation of whale shark ever reported in Indian territorial water. And I tried to do some literature review. I could not find any other congregation as big as this. So this is really remarkable that up to 500 individuals were shark used to swim in the Indian territorial waters back in 1999. Now, let's have some discussion on the trade of whale shark. Whale shark fishing came as a boom in the late 1980s. So, why there was sudden increase in whale shark fishing in India in the year of 19 in the late 1980s? And that's because this is a time when Taiwan and other countries they stopped the fishing of whale shark. So this is the time when Taiwan, Philippines, and other countries they started recognizing that the population of whale shark is declining, and that's why they started protecting the species. What they did is they put a country-wide ban on whale shark hunting, but still there was a great demand of whale shark products in Philippines, in Singapore, in UAE. And so it looks that to meet the demand, the Indian fishermen might have started or might have increased the fishing of whale shark in our areas. The fishermen they succeeded in making big catches and deriving high monetary returns from whale shark fishing. In early 90s, the rate or the price of one whale shark was around 8 to 9,000 Indian rupees. But in the late 90s, the cost of one whale shark was more than 1 lakh rupees, up to 1 lakh 50,000 rupees. So it was in a very, very huge demand in 90s. And the export started in the year of 1994. The export of whale shark from India actually started in 1994, and Singapore and UAE were the main importers of the whale shark producers. And the fishermen, they generally, they keep the liver of whale shark for themselves. What actually happens is when the group of fishermen they hunt down or they fish the whale shark, they drag it to the shore. And when they reach to the shore, they directly sell the whale shark to a middleman, or you can say to the agent. What this agent does is it further sells the whale shark to the exporter. And sometimes the fishermen they keep the liver part with themselves only. And it has been also noted that in early 1950s and 60s, the fishermen used to hunt whale shark for the liver only, and they used to throw the meat, skin, cartilage, other parts. In 1970s and 80s, they started utilizing liver and fin. In 1990 onwards, fishermen started utilizing and exporting almost all parts of whale shark. What this middleman does, it middleman buys the fish and take care of the cutting because this is a huge fish and expertise is actually required for cutting. And then the middleman will sell this to the expert. Now, the processing and packaging of meat should be taken within a day or something. Otherwise, the meat will, start to get deteriorated and ammonia will be generated. So once the ammonia is generated, it becomes useless. That's why as soon as they catch the fish, what they will do is they will start to process it. Why? there was a need to conserve the whale shark. So, as we have seen in the report of the WWF India and Traffic India, that 40 whale sharks were hunted in 4 days. 145 whale sharks were hunted in 1 month in late 90s. And even the global distribution was in decline in the 80s and 90s. Whale shark is sighted in more than 100 different countries, but it is protected in very few of them. Like it's protected in Australia, Philippines, Madagascar, Maldives, Middle East, South Africa, India, likewise. But many countries they actually started hunting it in 80s and 90s. In late 90s and in early 2000, it was recognized that the population of this fish is gradually declining. Number of fish, number of catches is reducing day by day. And that's why there was a need to protect, to conserve this fish. And as we all know, this is the largest fish of the largest living fish in the world. That's why whale shark conservation project was initiated by Wildlife Trust of India in early 2000. They actually started lobbying, they actually started doing some scientific research, doing some population monitoring by observing and monitoring landing centers. And then there was a beautiful documentary by Mr. Mike Pandey, Whale Shark. So part of that is also available on YouTube. You can watch it later. Why Wildlife Trust of India started conservation of whale shark on the Saurashtra coast, and uh, what was actual reason behind selecting this particular area? And that's because the maximum hunting was reported on Saurashtra coast. As I told earlier, 145 whale sharks were hunted in 1 month at Veeravat. So at that time, the hunting, or you can say fishing, is allowed, was allowed. So I'll discuss about the what was the project, how the project was actually started in the early 2004. So Mr. Vivek Menon and Mr. Sujit Gupta from Wildlife Trust of India visited Michapur in the year of 2003. They meet the officers of Tata Chemicals. They discussed and they agreed that public awareness is actually needed on Saurashtra coast. And that's why awareness campaigns were started. Even Tata Chemicals at that time felt that there is urgent need to do some conservation activities of whale shark. And study area was selected like Veeravar, Somnath, Dhamraj, Trapada, even Porbandar, and Okham. And Wildlife Trust of India has the biggest challenge, and the challenge was this was one of the preferred fish to hunt down in that particular time because meat, oil were exported to many Oriental countries, and this fish was capable to, earn the fortune, earn the overnight fortune to the fishermen in 1 day only. And then what what the collaborators decided was that there was a need to identify a reputed person who can convince the people not to hunt the whale shark. So there were some uh, some some names from which selection was about to happen, and few names were like, should we include Shah Rukh Khan to convince people? Another name suggested was, should we involve Sridevi to convince people? But later, it was also suggested that let's involve Amitabh Bachchan to convince people. But finally, Sri Morari Bapu was selected as a brand ambassador for whale shark conservation. And after that, he really touched the heart of fishermen. And the biggest achievement, if we say, of this project is there is a participatory approach or participatory program. Fishermen, the family members of fishermen were really involved in these activities. And even if Tata Chemicals, even if Wildlife Trust of India, in a near future or any future part, if they withdraw their support, the conservation activities will stay there, and people, the fishermen, will keep conserving the the whale shark. And Morari Bapu really intertwined the culture with the conservation. And what he said to the people is, whale shark is just like your daughter. As daughter visits the parents while in labor, the whale shark is doing the same. Whale shark, when is in labor, visits the coast of Saurashtra to deliver the young. And then he requested fishermen to play the part of parents instead of just fishermen. Along with this, various kids and street plays were also organized the entire Saurashtra coast. And it has been also noted that while watching these uh, street plays, some fishermen they literally cried watching the skits. And there is a particular scene in this street play when a pregnant daughter fall down and gets some injury. So the parents they immediately call the doctor. Doctor comes to home and says that everything is all right. There is nothing to worry. So this is the message that the skit or the drama actually wanted to deliver. And the next action or the next part in the drama was the fishermen, the parents, they actually received the message that the whale shark is sighted in a nearby area. So they start preparing and they start moving for whale shark fishing. At that time, that pregnant daughter actually starts crying and tells the parents that I just got some minor injuries and you were so much worried. Now you are going to the ocean to hunt down a fish who has come here to deliver the offspring. How can you do this? So this is the part of the street play which has touched the heart of the fishermen. And after that, the fishermen actually started conserving the species. And Morari Bapu said this, that the whale shark is coming to the coast of Saurashtra to deliver the babies. But after 10 years, Wildlife Trust of India got some evidence of sighting of live pups, some live offspring. I'll also share that photo with you, this presentation. And till now, seven offspring, or we can say seven pups, are sighted in our area. So after this awareness campaign, after the street plays, after the display exhibition of this inflatable model, awareness message was delivered in the communities. And the first record of the rescue of a whale shark actually happened in Porbandar. The fishermen cut the net and released the whale shark without the expectation of money. So, as informed by Wildlife Trust of India, the name of that fisherman from Porbandar was Mr. Chamadia. He might have watched this street play, and the message must have touched his heart that when he saw the whale shark entangled in the net, he cut the net and released the whale shark. But after that, this message was passed and is the Wildlife Trust of India and Tata Chemicals felt that this fisherman must be recognized, this fisherman must be awarded. After that, Tata Chemicals, uh, you know, uh, extended the financial support to that particular man. In next years, let's say in the year of 2006 and 7, this particular method was institutionalized by the Forest Department, and whale shark rescue protocol was established. Now, this is the early 2000 and now we are in 2020s. If you compare the scenario today, there is complete 360-degree turn of the scenario. 20 years ago, whale shark was intentionally hunted. Fishermen intentionally used to go to the ocean with a commercial motive to hunt down the whale shark. Now, whenever they go for fishing, and if the whale shark is entangled in their net, they cut the net and release. After initiation of whale shark conservation projects from the year 2004, there is not even a single record of fishing of whale shark recorded in the water of Gujarat. So this is really the biggest achievement the whale shark conservation projects by Tata Chemicals, Wildlife Trust of India, and Forest Department that the message is actually delivered. Even if the whale shark has high, very high commercial values, the whale shark is not hunted down. Now, Wildlife Trust of India has done this project in phase-wise manner in 2004 to 2009. Community awareness, community sensitization, and mass campaign programs were conducted. And as you can see in this photo, this inflatable model was one of the most favorite part when we say community awareness program. And after 2009, in phase two, along with the awareness programs, research, especially on the whale shark migration, has been conducted. So we have a mystery that from where the whale shark is coming to our ocean, we don't know. But we know that to where the whale shark is going from India, because certain rescued whale sharks were satellite taken. The first satellite taking of whale shark happened in 2013, and till now, total 8 whale sharks has been satellite taken. So we will try our best to organize one more webinar on whale shark migration only in nearby future. And uh, after 2014, International Whale Shark Day is being organized in India. But as you all know that Gujarat is one of the main area for whale shark conservation. That's why Gujarat has its own whale shark day. Yes. So Gujarat has a special day for whale shark conservation. Our uh, ex-forest minister, Mr. Mangubai, declared in the year of 2007 that Kartak Vad Amas will be celebrated as Gujarat's own whale shark day. So from that day, state level celebrations are happening on Kartak Vadhamas. So here in this beautiful photo by Wildlife Trust of India, you can clearly see that the fisherman is actually releasing the pup of whale shark which was entangled in the net. So, as informed earlier, the first rescue of whale shark happened around Porbandar, the year of 2005, and the name of that fisherman was Mr. Chamadia. And from 2005 to 2012, the phase one of rescue and release and compensation protocol. So, in the phase one, forest department has to do some panchnama. So, the panchnama is a standard procedure when some of the forest officials, along with the fishermen and WTI team, they visit the site. But the whales are rescue and entanglement happens in the middle of the ocean, and there may be some points where there is no mobile network coverage. So if the fisherman wants the compensation on the monetary, you know, supplement, it will the team will have to travel to a particular point where there is a network coverage. So what they do is they have to drag the fish along with them. So when they get mobile network, they call the president, the boatman association president or the fisherman community president, and they inform that the whale shark has been entangled in the net. After that, the president will inform forest department, and forest department officials, WTI team, they will quickly go to the particular location where there is a whale shark. But there was a problem in this particular method because the fishermen have to drag the whale shark for some distance. This dragging of whale shark may lead to the death of whale shark, or it may cause some injury due to dragging. And dragging was just like dragging which used to happen in earlier days of whale shark hunting. So in the year of 2012, it was realized that this method needs some changes, some modification. So WTI Wildlife Trust of India launched self-documentation scheme, and the pilot area for this self-documentation scheme was Uttarapada, Verawad, Dhamresh, and Mangrove. And what does it mean is the fishermen were given the cameras and they will have to self release the whale shark. And after doing that noble course, whenever they reach the landing center, they will have to contact the forest department and submit the photographs, submit the GPS location, and other necessary data. After that, in few days or in few weeks, the forest department would give them the financial aid. So this is kind of a win-win situation for forest department, for whale shark, and for fishermen because this operation may take full day of forest officials' duty, and forest officials are also responsible to look after the terrestrial wildlife as well. And some of you might be knowing that Gir Somnath district is also home to Asiatic lions, which is the conservation priority of Gujarat Forest Department. So self-documentation scheme has been very useful to Forest Department as well as fishermen. And our main motive is to conserve the whale shark. In the phase one of the rescue, the fish was dragged, sometimes killed in this dragging or sometimes injured. While here there is no dragging. Whenever the fisherman uh, sights the whale shark in the net, they cut the net, release the whale shark, takes photograph, takes video, and then when they come to landing center, they submit it to the forest department. Now there are many fishermen who have compassion for the whales. Many fishermen they don't know that they are eligible to get the financial aid from the government. But what they know is the whale shark must be released from the net. There are many fishermen from the Oka Mandal also who are rescuing and releasing whale shark voluntarily without the financial aid. So this year we have identified five such fishermen and we are going to celebrate their conservation activities, their conservation role tomorrow at Meetup. So here in this photo, you can see how the whale shark rescue operation happens. Okay, now another point is tourism. 25,000 is the sum of money that fishermen are eligible on a successful whale shark release. But if you compare that money with the previously earned money from the whale shark fishing, it is less than 20% or something like that. But there is another potential, there is another livelihood option, livelihood opportunity, which is which could be the ecotourism or whale shark tourism. Maximum number of tourists on a single day available or counted at Devbhoomi Dwarka were present on the Christmas Eve. Dwarka is famous for our Dwarka temple, but not on Janmashtami, not on Diwali. Maximum tourists were present at Dwarka on Christmas Eve. And the scenario must be somewhat similar for the Somnath as well. So, tourism has in fact really good alternative for fishermen, and it may also help to raise awareness to conserve the species. There are some opportunities, there are some challenges when we consider tourism because whenever we say tourism, control or definition or defining a particular carrying capacity is very much essential. One of the biggest challenge for whale shark tourism in Gujarat is high turbidity and less visibility in our in our coastal areas, in our coastal waters. And just because of less visibility and snorkeling instrument or equipments, there is also lack of some resources. So direct sighting of a whale shark, or we can say free-ranging whale shark in around Gujarat could be very, very less. Another reason could be, as discussed earlier, the numbers of whale sharks are sighted in March to June in great number. But March to June is also a kind of a summer in Gujarat. And in this scorching heat, going out in open ocean and waiting for a whale shark could be very difficult. is kind of a season when generally tourists may not enjoy going out on a whales are safari or a whales are cruise. So these are the challenges. And whenever we consider tourism, we must put some norms, we must put some regulations. And those norms and regulations must be followed. Okay, so today we also have an online test. As you all know, in my previous email, I have already informed you that whoever will remain present right now, only they will be eligible to give the online test. All right, so right now I will share the link of this online test in the live comment section only. So right now 15 participants are online, so they will be able to see this. And once you click on that link, it will, you know, you will go to Google Forms and you will be able to give this test. So just a moment, I'll paste the link, the online test. There are 15, 5 questions, MCQ type questions, and you will get 15 minutes for this, only 15 minutes. And I will stop taking responses exactly after 15 minutes. Okay, so I have just pasted the link in the comment section. You can click on that link and go to Google Forms and submit your answer while we remain online here. After 15 minutes, we will discuss the correct answers. All right, so I have received responses of all of you, and I hope you have immediately got your marks after submitting this practice. So actually, we have four toppers who have scored the highest mark. So out of 15, there are four of you have achieved 13 marks. And that's for sure that all of you will get certificate for this online course. When I say all of you, I mean all of you who have attended today's course as well as have given the online test will get the certificate. There is also one more exciting news that I would like to share with you is today at 6 o'clock we have actually a session of Velshar in Marathi language. So if you are from Maharashtra or if you know anyone from Maharashtra, you may share this screenshot with them. We will be live on same YouTube channel, C-SCAPES, Ocean Education and Communication. And this webinar in Marathi will be delivered by Ms. Dhanasri Bagade, who is marine biologist with the Mango Foundation. So I request you all to share this exciting news that we are also conducting a whale shark webinar in Marathi today, 6 o'clock. So please share with your friends in Maharashtra. One more news. Tomorrow we'll be having in-person session, in-person program at Mithapur, where Tata Chemicals is. And in this program, we will recognize and award five fishermen who have worked for conservation of whale shark in around Okamandar. We'll also declare top four entries of this crash course. We'll also announce the result of our online painting competition and we'll have some other programs as well. So I'll also email you the link of tomorrow's program at GitHub. So I also request you to subscribe this YouTube channel. Seascapes is also on Instagram. You can search seascapes.in on Instagram as well and follow the upcoming projects, upcoming engagement activities on Instagram. We also have a website, seascapes.in. You may have a look at that the website and you can have a look what kind of different programs we are doing with our partner. As I have informed you yesterday, we have a conservation project in Lakshadweep. We have one in Tamil Nadu. We have one in West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh as well. So please keep visiting our social media pages and website and let's stay in touch. Till then, goodbye. Take care.